Hey everyone! In this video, we're exploring something quite puzzling but fascinating. Despite the gloomy news about China's economy, like slower growth rates, huge debt levels, and a shaky property market, we still see crowded malls and busy tourist spots. How is this possible? Why are people still out shopping and traveling like everything is perfectly fine? To understand this, we need to look beyond the headlines and dig into what's really happening on the ground. It's an intriguing observation that raises some important questions about how economies and people actually function. Let's break it down together. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with China's economy right now. First off, the growth rate has been slowing down. For a long time, China was growing at a rapid pace, but recently, things have cooled off. Imagine running at full speed and then gradually slowing to a jog. That's kind of what's happening here. Another big issue is high youth unemployment. Many young people are struggling to find jobs, which is a huge problem because it means less income and more uncertainty for the future. Think about how tough it would be if you just finished school and couldn't find a job. That's the reality for a lot of young people in China right now. On top of that, there's the problem of deflation. This means prices are dropping, which might sound good at first, cheaper stuff, right? But it actually signals that people are spending less and saving more, which can be bad for the economy because it slows everything down. Now, let's talk about debt. China has a high debt-to-GDP ratio, meaning the country owes a lot of money compared to what it makes. It's like having a huge credit card bill that keeps growing. This debt includes money borrowed by the government, companies, and even individuals. Lastly, the property market crisis. Property prices have been falling, and many real estate companies are in trouble. This is a big deal because, in China, real estate is a major part of the economy. Imagine if your house lost a lot of its value overnight. That's the fear many people are facing. So, with all these issues, slowing growth, high youth unemployment, deflation, high debt, and a shaky property market, you'd think people would be cutting back on spending, right? But as we saw earlier, shopping centers and travel spots are still packed. Let's explore why that is. So, let's start with the lag effect. When an economy starts to struggle, it doesn't always hit people's wallets right away. Think about it like a ripple effect. The big splash happens first, but it takes a while for the ripples to reach the shore. People might still have savings or access to credit, allowing them to keep spending for a bit longer. Next, the government often steps in to help out. In China, the government has been pumping money into the economy through various measures like subsidies and big infrastructure projects. This helps keep people employed and money flowing. It's like giving the economy a booster shot. In China, maintaining social status and appearances is really important. Even during tough times, people will still spend on things that help them keep up appearances. It's kind of like when you're having a bad day but still put on your best clothes to feel a bit better. There's also a big difference between urban and rural areas. Cities like Beijing and Shanghai are much wealthier and have more economic activity compared to rural areas. So, while some parts of China are struggling, others are still doing pretty well. Lastly, consumer confidence plays a huge role. If people believe that the economic problems are just temporary, they might continue to spend as usual. It's like if you think a rainstorm will pass quickly, you might not bother with an umbrella. Plus, people tend to stick to their usual habits unless they really have to change. So, even though there are big economic challenges, these factors help explain why we still see so many people out and about, spending money and enjoying life. It's a complex mix of delayed effects, government action, cultural habits, urban wealth, and optimistic behavior. Let's talk about how travel habits have changed since COVID-19. Chinese tourists are now more interested in domestic travel, exploring new and unique places within their own country. It's like rediscovering your own backyard and finding hidden gems. Instead of going abroad, many are choosing to visit lesser-known spots, looking for fresh experiences. There's also a growing trend towards cultural and wellness tourism. People are flocking to historical sites and cultural landmarks to connect with their heritage. Wellness tourism is booming too, with many looking for places where they can relax and rejuvenate. Think of it as a mini retreat where you can escape the hustle and bustle of city life and focus on your well-being. Technology is playing a huge role in modern tourism. From virtual reality tours that let you explore famous sites from home to seamless digital payments making travel hassle-free, tech is enhancing the whole experience. Imagine booking your hotel, paying for meals, and even getting a virtual tour guide, all from your smartphone. It's making travel more convenient and accessible. So, the combination of these trends, domestic travel, cultural and wellness tourism, and tech integration, is shaping the way Chinese people travel today. It's all about finding new experiences, staying connected to their roots, and using technology to make everything smoother and more enjoyable. Now, let's talk about wealth inequality. In China, like many other places, wealth isn't evenly distributed. There are many wealthy individuals who continue to spend a lot on luxury goods and travel. This spending can create an illusion that the economy is doing better than it actually is. Imagine seeing someone driving a fancy car or staying in a 5-star hotel. It makes everything look prosperous even if it's not the full picture. There's also what's called the shadow economy. This includes all the economic activities that aren't recorded officially, like informal jobs and side businesses. For example, someone might have a regular job but also earn extra cash through a small, unregistered business. This additional income helps people keep spending even when the official economy is struggling. It's like having a hidden reserve of resources that you can tap into when times are tough. So, between the spending of the wealthy and the income from the shadow economy, we get a mixed picture. While the broader economic numbers might look grim, these factors help maintain a level of visible activity and spending. It's a reminder that economies are complex and what we see on the surface doesn't always tell the whole story. So, to wrap things up, we've seen that there are several reasons why China's shopping centers and travel destinations are still bustling despite the economic challenges. We talked about the lag effect, where the impact of an economic downturn takes time to be felt by consumers. We also discussed the government's efforts to stimulate the economy with subsidies and projects, and how cultural factors drive people to maintain their spending habits. Plus, we highlighted the differences between urban and rural areas and how consumer confidence plays a big role in spending behavior. These points show just how complex and nuanced economic downturns and consumer behavior can be. It's not always straightforward, and many factors come into play that can make things seem better or worse than they really are.